Are you trying to figure out what price to set for your business? Over the last 5 videos, we walked through the process of how to determine what your business is actually worth. But it's important to know that the number that you determined is its value is not the number you set as its price. In this video, I'll explain how to set a price for the business so that buyers will not be walking away, but you will be walking away with the best possible outcome. So let's do a quick review. Over the last 5 videos, we covered 5 important aspects of value. Number 1, what does your business have to do for its owner? Currently, it does for you, presumably, and it has to do for the buyer. So these 3 items are very important. Number 2, how much does your business really make? What's its discretionary earnings? Number 3, the multiple of discretionary earnings, what it is and why it is the most important, meaningful, and impactful number that buyers will use. Number 4, additional methods of valuation. We use several of them. In the 4th part of this series, we explained multiples of revenue, capitalization of earnings, and debt coverage. Those are among the additional methods that we use for every valuation we do. And number 5, how do we determine the importance of each of those methods when we establish an ultimate value calculation? Now, it's important to understand that our results are developed from research into what similar businesses have sold for. For example, if we're valuing an HVAC contractor, we start our research and we find that there's been 5 or 8 or 12 different businesses that are similar that have sold in the last 3 or 4 years, and the data tells us that the sales prices of those businesses, literally what they were worth, ranged between, say, 2.87 and 3.72 times their earnings. This gives us our initial range, but we usually find 1 or 2 outliers, a couple at the bottom, maybe a couple at the top, and the rest of them are kind of clustered in the center. And this gives us our tighter range, and we want to choose a number near the center of that tighter range. Once we do that, we apply that number. That becomes our multiple, and we apply that number to the earnings of the business that we're valuing, and we arrive at our estimate of value. Now, what do we do with that number, and how does it get to our list price? So we need to understand the difference first between value and price. Think of it this way. Value is the foundation, an informed estimate of the value of your business, what your business is truly worth. What your business is worth is what you should hope to get for it. That number becomes our target. Price is the strategy we use to hit that target. So, when setting a price, there's a couple of things to consider. 3. First is market positioning. If you price the business too high, buyers are simply going to bypass it. They'll simply walk away. They won't even make an offer. You'll get no letters of intent. You'll get no conversations, no opportunity to sell your business. Because buyers are smart. They're not dumb. They understand value. They understand return on investment, and they understand multiples. Price it too high, you'll eliminate most buyers. Price it too low, well, obviously, you're going to leave money on the table. But more importantly, if you price it too low, legitimate buyers could begin to think, well, there's something wrong with this business. Why is it priced so low? It seems unrealistic. So the sweet spot is generally somewhere slightly higher than the valuation target, but not too high that it chases people off. You have to have room to negotiate. So that brings us to the second consideration, negotiation. Buyers are not going to come with offers of the asking price. Just like buying a house or a car or a boat or nearly anything else, buyers are going to make offers, and those offers are going to be lower than the price you ask. Therefore, you have to set your asking price slightly higher than the lowest number you'd accept, or slightly higher than the value that we've determined. Now, this is what we call the negotiation premium. It gives you you need to, it's a sweet spot, and it's slightly higher than the value, but lower than the price that would drive people off. It needs to be realistic. It needs to relate to actual value. And the third condition, or third consideration, is buyer psychology and competition. So if your industry is hot, HVAC companies, for example, fit that bill right now. You might be able to charge a higher or ask a higher premium without scaring buyers off. But if your industry is slow at the moment, you might want to price your business fairly close to or even a skosh under value, because you want to generate offers. You can't have conversations or negotiations with any buyer if you don't have offers or interest coming in. But remember that you're competing with buyers, for buyers rather, with other businesses. Buyers have options, and you need to be competitive on price. More specifically, though, on ROI, return on investment, and multiple of earnings. Those are the two things that a buyer is going to look at specifically. You need to be competitive. So let's use an example here. In part 3 of our 5-part series, we used one of our clients. This was a special events rental company who had discretionary earnings of $500,000. Based on our research, we determined that similar companies had sold recently for multiples of earnings of between 2.93 and 3.64. So from that information, we applied a multiple of 3.19 to our client's business, and we ended up with a valuation of approximately $1.6 million. So what should the asking price be? In that case, we'd likely set it at somewhere between $1.7 and $1.8 million. Why? Because it leaves room for negotiations, but it stays close enough to the realistic value to keep actual serious buyers engaged. So here's the bottom line here. Valuation gives you the target price. Pricing is the strategy you use to hit that target or get as close to it as possible. We recommend to our clients, and we teach in our courses to business brokers who join us or real estate agents who want to add brokerage to their practice, that they add a negotiation premium of between 10 and 15% to the valuation, to the target price, before they bring the business to market. Now, in my next video, I'll share with you the 5 most common mistakes sellers make when they try to set a price for their business. And I'll also show you how to avoid them. So if you found this helpful, hit like, subscribe, and leave a comment or questions in the comments box below. Let's start a conversation.